Hi there, and welcome to the Hot Corner. My name is Nick Sentman, and I'm here in studio with Assistant Sports Editor Ryan Trexler. Ryan, how are we doing today?
Good.
That's good. We got a lot of good topics coming up today. Actually, women's and men's basketball here at Shippensburg. Two different stories, though, actually. Ryan, women's basketball, they're tied for first in the PSACs. Got a pretty decent record and have a tough competition with Bloomsburg, who's also tied for first coming up here.
Yes.
What can you say about the women's game coming up here on Wednesday night?
It's a big game for the women. They're in a three-way tie right now, Bloomsburg being one of those teams. They're going to have to come out and definitely fight for this win. This is going to be a big win for them. Hopefully they can pull one out. Hopefully good crowd shows up. Hopefully we got a good home atmosphere, and they can definitely pull out a big win that they need right now to solidify their first place spot there in the PSAC East. So this is definitely going to be a big game for the women. I see, the Word Twins definitely stepping up like usual, and just they're going to need to stay on top, stay focused.
So you would put a lot of importance on this game for them. I mean, I know they have a few games left. If this loss does this loss make or break where they stand heading into the playoffs?
I wouldn't say it's a make or break, but they want to keep that win streak going. They want to keep that momentum going. They're on a 7-game win streak right now, and I think getting this one is definitely a big one because they can stay on key, stay on track, keep that momentum. I wouldn't say it's a must win, but it's a big win if they can definitely pull it out.
Okay, that's great, Ron. Actually, now we're going to bring in Sam Stewart, sports editor, and get his take on this. Sam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you guys. What's up?
All right, what's up, Sam? Not too much. What do you think about this women's game coming up on Wednesday?
To go off Ryan said, it is a big game, but I'm real different from what he said, actually. He said it's not a must-win game for them. I totally disagree. I think it is. They have a tough slate going in. Besides Cheney, you got Millersville, you got Westchester, East Stroudsburg, and then I think they have Millersville's their last game this season, I believe. But all of those teams are ranked in the top of the PSAC. This game right now, if they beat Bloomsburg, which I believe they will, if they beat Bloomsburg, then they'll have a hold on that number 1 seed and possibly home court advantage throughout the playoffs. They have Gannon to worry about in the West, but I think if they beat Bloomsburg, they're all solidify themselves as the top team.
All right, but you said they have Gannon to worry about in the West, and we all know they're pretty tough. But you say in the East that they really don't have much to worry about, even though this game's coming up.
Westchester would probably be, and Westchester and Millersville would probably be their biggest threat.
So you count those as must-win games?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Every game from here on out for women's is a must-win. If they slip up at all, I guess it would be against Millersville, but they have a couple soft games in between. They have Cheney, who they're all playing. The women's team for Cheney is just downright terrible. So that should be an easy win, but they got to pick up the wins while they can to solidify that top spot.
Okay, so you don't think that the positioning in the playoffs is that something they need to be worried about? I know you said these all are must-win games, but is really the positioning in the East that much of a difference? Does it matter?
Well, the thing is with Division II, positioning really doesn't really mean that much because you're going. If you think about Highest Fieldhouse, they pack maybe 400, 500 people in for a game, and that's tops. Playoffs, you'll probably see a little bit more, but you don't have that hostile atmosphere. The only thing that you're really worrying about is travel with your players and how they'll perform when they're traveling to East Stroudsburg or Millersville or they'll never go to Cheney, but places like that. And if they have too much of a travel time, then they're all getting winded. If you have their games home, then they don't have to worry about any of that. They just have to worry about going to the Highest, playing their best game, and then going home right after that.
Okay, that's definitely true. I agree with that. Ryan, what do you think about what Sam just said on...
I mean, like he said, Highest Fieldhouse doesn't get that packed, but you always feel a little bit more comfortable playing at home, whether you have a big crowd or not. I feel that this is a big this is a big game. I mean, I still don't see how it's a must-win. It is a big win. Slipping up on Millersville, I don't see that. Don't mean to call you out, Sam. I don't see that. They took it to Millersville their first round at it, and they know what they got. So I feel still not a must-win, but momentum. I just keep thinking of momentum. Momentum is a big thing. They're already on a 7-game win streak. Take it to 8, 9 would be a great thing. Keep that roll on right into the playoffs. Keep your momentum going.
Yeah, you definitely see that, especially with, the NCAAs, in the March Madness. I mean, a team that's on a roll is, can definitely upset, a top-seeded team just because it's momentum. Momentum's the big story. Just wanted to clarify, road to home record, what's the women's like? Is it any difference between playing in Hodges or playing on the road? Sam, do you have anything on that?
I do. They're 7-4 at home, 7-2 on the road, so it really doesn't matter where they go. They're still performing at a top level. But as to what Ryan said about the whole Bloomsburg situation, if they lose to Bloomsburg tomorrow or Wednesday, if they lose to Bloomsburg on Wednesday, they're a game back now. Bloomsburg has 2 soft teams that they're playing in Mansfield, and I think they play Cheney as well, and Cheney. Mansfield and Cheney are not good in women's basketball. They're so-so. Cheney's god-awful. But those are 2 games that Bloomsburg will have in the bag that Shippensburg will then have to try and catch up with. So if they beat Bloomsburg, they'll be a game up and control their own destiny. If they lose, they're catching up to them. And seeding really isn't that important because Ship will have home court even if they're the 2 or the 3 seed. But if they drop any lower than that, then they're on the road for the first playoff.
You say that Bloomsburg has those 2 games in the bag. I mean, anything could happen any day. Any game, any team could come out. Cheney's not all that good, but who's to say they don't come out?
He's terrible.
Now, I understand, but how do you know that Bloomsburg's going to win? Bloomsburg could have a bad day. They could have an off day, not hitting shots, stuff like that.
If we go with that regard, if Shippensburg loses to Bloomsburg, then they have a chance of getting dethroned as well.
I understand. I know where you're coming from there. I still don't think this is going to be a big win. I feel that if they can get this win, keep going back to it, momentum is going to be a big thing. But I don't think it is an absolute must-win game. I'm not set on that.
Well, I'll just jump in for a second here just to say, Sam, you did allude to the fact that Shippensburg actually has a tougher schedule, their last so many games compared to Bloomsburg. Is that correct?
With the exception, Bloomsburg has Westchester, Mansfield, Kutztown, and East Stroudsburg left besides Ship. Okay. And that Mansfield game is pretty much the softer of the 2 with Cheney. So Bloomsburg has 2 soft games, Shippensburg has 1.
Okay, so at any time, in that, and I mean, it can switch around.
Yeah, any game, anything could happen. Any team could come out hot, could come out cold. It all just... Yeah. The best thing for Shippensburg to do is win as many games as possible. That always puts you in the best way, to decide what you can do in the playoffs is win as many games.
That's definitely right.